Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to True Talk. I'm sorry about that little delay we had. Every time I would hit go live, we had a little bit of an upload error. So, knock on wood. That's wood that I knocked on. I think we're okay. But, guys, my name is Mr. Pure Instinct, or MPI for short, if you'd prefer it that way. I am joined by my co-host, Mallet Editor, and our guest, Shavrolet. What's up, guys?
What's up, dudes?
Hey.
All right, thanks for joining me. Mallet, let everybody know what we're going to be talking about tonight, because this week is the first week that we have a guest on and actual topics.
Yeah, we actually have things to talk about besides my chesting elbow this time around, so hooray! No, we are going to be talking about the new Pokemon game that was in, and then something a little bit more serious. We're going to be talking about YouTube banning comments on videos featuring minors, why they're doing that, and what their intentions are.
All right, so those are all going to be great topics to talk about. On top of that, we're also going to get to know Shavrolet better, which is the main point in the show here, is to get to know all of our true affiliates who may have not been in the community for as long or just may not have been able to be on a true show or podcast before. But guys, tonight, before we get anything started, we're going to take a moment of silence in remembrance of Michael Osiris Snipe. He's one of the major contributors to OBS since the very early days. If you guys know OBS, open broadcast software, obviously, it's what a lot of us use, and without it, I don't think anything that we do on Twitch would be possible. So guys, we're going to take a few moments of silence for him in remembrance. All right, so let's get straight into things. Mallet, why don't you introduce us to Shavrolet? Let's get to know him.
All right, let's get this party started. So, Shavrolet, story number 1, who are you, what's your channel, and why are you on Twitch?
All right, so I'm Shavrolet. As they've already said, I'm a rhythm game streamer, specifically Clone Hero. Usually you can find that in the Guitar Hero 3 directory because we don't have our own directory. It's a fan-made project based off of Guitar Hero, essentially. It's pretty decent, generous, very active community together, so it's real nice to meet the people in there. Been on Twitch for like 4 or 5 years as like a viewer now. Last year I was streaming on Mixer for about 6-7 months and decided to move to Twitch at the end, just because of the community for Clone Hero over here on Twitch as of recently, and it's been a lot more fun. I'm getting involved with everybody over here on Twitch, so that's kind of what got me into streaming over here. So.
Okay, so you say Clone Heroes, it's in the Guitar Hero 3 directory, so is it kind of the same thing? You're playing music and hitting buttons?
Yeah, it's the exact same thing, essentially, except for since the actual Guitar Hero games aren't being made by like Activision or Neversoft or anything like that anymore, fans in our community made a clone, basically, of the game based on the UI. And then you can get like custom songs. People chart songs to keep the game going and get like any new music that comes out and puts anything you want on there. So it's pretty cool overall.
Oh wow, that is really cool. Okay, so Shavrolet, how'd you get that username? What's the story behind that?
All right, so my nickname growing up is part of my last name, actually. So people will call me Shav, Shavy, all that kind of stuff. So that's my gamer tag for a while. And then I was making electronic music a lot, like 8th grade, 9th grade, all the way through high school. And I came up with the name Shavrolet based off of those nicknames. And then I was like, that kind of like just rolls off the tongue good, like Shavrolet. So that's where it came from. And now it's like my Twitch username because it's pretty original for the name on Twitch. So.
Yeah, no, it's definitely cool. I can go ahead and tell you MPI and I pronounce your name and he won. So,
I told you.
Yeah, you did. All right, so what do you love about streaming, and what gets you to go online every day, even if you're not necessarily feeling 100%?
So community is like a big factor for me, especially with Guitar Hero. The people that are in it, I'd say about 99%. I'd say it's a way higher percentage than most games. There's not very much toxicity. Everybody's really supportive, specifically for that community. And my community I've built specifically are really nice and generous because that's what I've thought about doing, and I try to do charity streams and whatnot. Like I'm trying to do that every other month. And so what gets me online when I'm not feeling so great is the fact that it actually puts me in a better mood when I go and talk to those people in my community streaming. So it's real good, especially if you just go online doing something like Guitar Hero, like Clone Hero, and it just makes you like feel good when you go on. Like you're just playing good music, people come and request stuff, you share music with people. It's a real good time overall. So
Okay. I mean, real quick, just because I'm curious, do you play any instruments in real life?
yeah, I play guitar actually, like electric guitar. Me and my dad are repainting an acoustic I got from Goodwill recently. So I'll be
Nice.
doing, when I get that acoustic and an interface for my electric, I'll be doing live like music performance stuff on Twitch at some point, having people come and tell me songs to learn, and I'll learn them on stream and stuff too. So that'll be in the future. But
That is brilliant. That is absolutely. It's so cool that you got to turn like music into something that you enjoy online and something that you enjoy in real life, and you get to put a lot of what you do into that. That's really cool.
yeah, it's definitely real fun, especially meeting all the people that are in there. Like we've got Abuse and Milk in chat. He's one of my mods. He's pretty. he's a pretty cool guy. I met him like a month ago from another streamer from Clone Hero. So everybody's pretty intertwined and knows a lot of the smaller streamers know a lot of the bigger streamers. So it's not really divided based on views or anything. Everybody pretty much just helps each other out as much as they can and all that fun stuff. So
That's absolutely brilliant. All right. Anything else you want to tell us about yourself? Anything weird, wacky, over the top that you feel like the world should know?
no, I just like tattoos. I mean, you guys can see like my quarter sleeve all through here. I've got like 30 hours of work done. That's about it. That's like one of my addictions. So looking to get more done at some point, but got to cut it back until I'm done with college. So
That's
Makes
awesome.
Makes sense. All right. Well, hey, community, meet Shavrolet. Awesome human being. Go check him out.
Yeah, so Mallet, like you said, we're going to be talking about the new Pokemon game just a little bit. There's not a whole lot out there about it just yet. So all we know is what we've seen from the Nintendo Direct. The main things we know are it's called Sword and Shield, and they're supposed to release simultaneously, as always, sometime later this year. We didn't get a month, we didn't get a date or a quarter, anything like that. They just said later in 2019. We know the starters. So there's Scorbunny, which is the fire. Sobble, I think I said that right, which is water. And Grookey, which is the grass. What about you guys? How do you feel about this? Are either of you big Pokemon fans? Do you have nostalgia for Pokemon from whenever you were younger? Or could you just not care less about Pokemon anymore? It's been around forever. Get rid of it.
I guess I'll start. I wasn't allowed to watch TV or play video games as a child. First Pokemon I ever had any interaction with was Pokemon Go a few years ago. So I actually had no idea this game was coming until I was told about it. And I know I'm a terrible person. I'm sorry. But more than anything, I just don't own consoles. So,
Right.
yeah. So I'm not the best person to talk about this because I have no idea what's going on.
Sure, understandable. Chevrolet, what about you? Are you a Pokemon fan? Are you looking forward to this one? Do you have a Switch and you're wanting to play it?
So I grew up on Pokemon, so I'm a real big fan of it. I'm unsure about the game. I still want to get a Switch to play Let's Go Eevee at some point. I still want to get into that. The only thing about this game is it kind of just got dropped out of nowhere. I think people are hyping it a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw somebody did compare it. They made a meme out of it. They were like, this is what they expect the new Pokemon game to look like, and they like photoshopped Ash and Pikachu into Breath of the Wild's land, and I don't think it's gonna be remotely like that. So I think people just need to like stall their expectations until more comes out for it. But I think it could be a pretty good game if they do it right and do the release pretty well.
Yeah. I think it's always going to get hyped because it's Pokemon. Let's be honest. Pokemon, as soon as people see it, they're like, well, here's my money. Take all of it. I don't care. You can have it. They love it. But I think the thing that's the most exciting about this to me and the coolest is that now I can play Pokemon on my TV.
Ooh.
I can take that game that I've had to
fun.
play on a Game Boy screen that is smaller than my phone, which you can see. This is my phone. on like a Game Boy or a DS screen, which is like half the size of my phone screen, and now I can put it on my 50-inch TV. And that it's going to have, it's going to have higher graphics, it's going to look better, it's going to be smoother, and I feel like with all of that, it's going to make it feel a little bit different of a game, but it's not going to be completely different. It's still Pokemon. It's still a core Pokemon game, which is, basically the same over and over again. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it works. I think people enjoy it. If it ain't broke, I guess don't fix it. But it is the 8th generation of a lot of the same, a little bit different. So I think, like you said, people are going to overhype it because it's Pokemon. We don't know that much about it yet. I'm seeing rumors they're talking about it maybe being in the UK, but I don't really care where the Pokemon game is. It's all going to be the same. With that said, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. It's Pokemon.
I mean, we have seen even in recent weeks that games with little to no advertising can clearly do well. I mean, look at Apex Legends.
Oh, yeah.
That dropped out of nowhere with no advertising at all, and everyone and their grandmother literally is playing it. So, and this is Pokemon we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is a known property that everyone and their grandmother loves. So, does it really need that much advertisement? I don't really think it does.
I don't think it needs almost any advertisement, really. I think the biggest thing that they're going to need to do is just keep giving people more information as it gets closer and closer to the game, and just say, hey, this is the day it comes out. And really, that's almost all that it needs. I mean, obviously, it's going to have commercials. It's going to have TV spots. It's going to have, a little bit of everything out there. But it's going to be a big hit because it's Pokemon, and it's the first one that's going to be on the Switch that's a core title. Because, we've had Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, which is a fun game. I like it. But it's not a core game. It's, more of a Pokemon Go mixed with more of a typical RPG on your console, which is good. It's fine. And it's nice because it's a change-up. It was really chill. I've played it, and, I could just sit back and just kind of like, and that's all I had to do. I didn't have to put that much thought into it. There wasn't battling or, thinking, oh man, I got to do this to make sure I have the strongest Pokemon and everything like that, which a lot of people do in the actual traditional games. So I think it's going to be a big hit. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be wonderful, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So just out of curiosity for both of you who's played Pokemon before, what are y'all's favorite Pokemon and why?
Mine is still from a Gen 1, and it is Gengar, the little fat purple ghost. I like that whole evolution chain, Haunter, Ghastly, Gengar. I like creepy stuff anyway. Like, I like ghosts and spooky horror aspect of things, and those were kind of the first ones that we really encountered. So I think that kind of sticks in my mind. But also, they're kind of just goofy Pokemon. Like, they're silly. They, they get these big smiles and these big laughs and stuff like that to creep you out. So those have always stuck with me as my favorite Pokemon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Lapras. So when I was a kid, I was always into cryptics, like the Loch Ness Monster and stuff, and Lapras just reminds me of the Loch Ness Monster. So I'm just a huge fan. Plus, like, you always see, like, if somebody encounters Lapras, they're always riding it if it's one of their Pokemon.
Yep.
So that's always been cool to me. So.
All right. Mine is Mr. Mime, of all people, because he's apparently the Europe-specific Pokemon in Pokemon Go, and I was able to catch him the last time I was in England. So,
oh, nice.
He's just weird.
That's awesome.
So that one's my favorite.
That's fair. Mr. Mime is super weird, so I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think so too. Mimes are creepy. That's why Maniacs always threw anvils at him.
If you want another creepy one, Mallet, you should read into the backstory of Cubone and Marowak.
Oh, no.
I won't spoil it for you, but it's weird and creepy.
All right.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so guys, on to our next topic. We have one topic we're going to talk about just a tiny bit. It's not going to be long, but I have some thoughts on it, and I have some feelings on it. And then that's going to actually kind of roll us into the second topic, which I think all of us can have a bigger discussion about, just because it can impact us all being content creators. But first, I want to talk about THQ Nordic, and the fact that they did an Ask Me Anything on the website 8chan. So, if you guys don't know what 8chan is, it's part of 4chan. I'm not 100% familiar with the website, but I know it's a bad place, and I know I don't want to be there. Basically, they did an Ask Me Anything like you would see on Reddit on this website instead of on Reddit. The problem is that website is even more anonymous than Reddit. Basically, you don't have a username, you don't have a login. It gives you a comment box, you type your comment, you might have to type a CAPTCHA, and boom, you've posted it. So the problem with that was that all the questions that they got weren't related to the game. It was related to things like hate campaigns or things like child pornography, just horrible, horrible things that had nothing to do with the game. And I think what this kind of shows us is, yes, you have PR, you have your public relations people, but you need someone who is also, really on the up and up about social media and the internet and what's happening now, versus a lot of companies still might have a PR person who's, well, we need to look good when we're right in front of people or on television. I don't care what we do on the internet. So someone here either didn't know what this website was and didn't take the time to vet it, or they didn't have anyone even thinking about it. What do you guys think about this? How could a company, especially as big as like THQ, not know, hey, maybe we don't go here?
Do you want to start, Chevrolet, or do you want me to?
Sure. I think a lot of it comes down to under realizing how important a social media manager is and the people that look into social medias in general. And like, people look at it as kind of like a joke job, but it's actually very important for like knowing what's good for engagement, that kind of thing. And a basic thing, like we were talking about before the show, like MPI brought up, is Reddit is literally the place for AMAs for anything. They literally have AMA threads for people. And Reddit's also pretty moderated. So that would have been like a great place to go in the first place versus somewhere like 4chan or 8chan, where everything's anonymous. And something like that for a gaming company like THQ, why do you need people to be anonymous, really? There's not really anything personal you're releasing or anything like that. I don't see the point in needing an anonymous source for an AMA. Doesn't make sense to me.
And I'll bounce off of that by saying I am a former social media manager, and I completely agree with everything you said about the importance of it. And in something like this tells me that whoever came up with this idea likely does not, as you said, does not spend really any time on social media, and very likely thinks that, oh, social media is all the same. Oh, just post stuff, things like that, things will happen, blah, 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 without understanding of there's so much work and things that go behind the scenes in being a social media manager and things like that. And so many C-suite executives do not understand how that works and do not bother to understand. They just get angry when they don't see results in 2 weeks. No matter how many times you try to tell them that's not how it works. That's partially why I'm no longer in social media management. So no, I absolutely agree with everything. It was someone who clearly had no idea what was going on and chose to remain ignorant. Their apology reeks of a PR statement that was polished for this situation, and while it may seem sincere on the surface, I don't buy it. Mm-hmm. They're just upset that people got angry. Had nobody gotten upset about it, they probably wouldn't have said anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and if you can even look in like the article that we have here as our information, and they said that they just didn't even, do their due diligence in looking into it. And I just can't really understand, like, you're representing a company and going on a website to do an Ask Me Anything. How are you not going to look into something? Exactly like you said, Chevrolet, Reddit is, that's the place to do it. That's where we've seen it. Bill Gates has done an Ask Me Anything on there. So we know that that's a pretty legitimate place to do these things, and it's very heavily moderated, and that, it's not... It is slightly anonymous, but I think it's less anonymous because you have a username. Something is attached to you. You had to create an account to talk on that website at all. So why did we even feel like we needed to go somewhere else is what I'm wondering. Was it just, let's do something different to try to stand out? Was it, we just don't want to do it on Reddit because that's where everybody does it and we want to be the cool kids? It doesn't make sense to me.
I think it was the first one. Everybody goes on Reddit. They were trying to stand out. Combine that with with people who don't understand that there are places on the internet you don't want to go.
Yeah, there are bad people on the internet, surprisingly. I would have never thought it, but surprisingly, people are kind of jerks on the internet sometimes.
And I think that's a great lead into our next topic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why terrible people on the internet things... Buddy. Hooray! So, Google has announced that YouTube will be disabling YouTube comments on every video that features a minor. So if there is somebody under 18 in one of your videos on YouTube, no comments allowed. Why is this? Simple. Child pornography. Apparently, child predators have been using YouTube comments to screenshot and tag basically stuff for their sick minds. The problem is, though, that Google has been using an algorithm and it's been shutting down things that it shouldn't be shutting down. Videos without minors. I've heard it shut down channels because there was one channel I read about that his titles all had the CP in it, which stood for something in one of the games he was playing or something like that, and they deleted his whole channel. So what do you guys think?
What you were just talking about actually rolls back to something we talked about earlier, which is Pokemon. That creator that you're talking about is a channel that I've watched, and he is a Pokemon Go YouTuber. So basically, he does vlogs, just like a vlogger would, but throughout the whole thing, he's playing Pokemon Go. And he's talking about, these new Pokemon have come out. Or, I'm doing this raid right now. He's traveled all over the world to do this now. And he's actually a huge channel. So he puts CP, combat power, just like you see in Pokemon Go. So YouTube's algorithm saw that and didn't say, oh, those are two letters that could stand for really anything, and just went, nope, bye, you gotta go. It has since then been fixed, to my understanding, so thankfully, they took care of it and said, our bad. But that's kind of the problem with it, is that they're just using an algorithm for all of this. An algorithm isn't a person. And I get it. There's no way that they could ever hire enough people to go through every YouTube channel on YouTube to catch these things. So it's hard to find that good middle ground. But I feel like there has to be a better answer to it than that. It's the same thing as whenever Adpocalypse happened, as they called it. Everyone got demonetized for just basically existing on the internet. It was pretty bad, and people lost a lot of money. And I'm wondering if we're going to have similar things happening now.
Chevrolet, what do you think?
So my question would be how they're analyzing this, because they have algorithms to know if you're swearing or not in a video to demonetize you, but they supposedly can't have an algorithm to just delete messages off of accounts and instead just ban YouTubers and keep them from growing their communities and hurt them, essentially. And this can go into like a whole slew of problems, like trolls going into accounts and just saying stuff to just screw somebody's channel over, essentially. And so that's like even bigger issues that can go into where somebody's not even having any issues in their videos, or like there's been people that have tweeted out like there's a family channel, right, and their comments are getting deleted because they have their they've just interacted with their kids in a video, even if they don't show their kid on the video. And that's been a big problem on Twitter because there's been like multiple people whose accounts have been getting either shut down or comments deleted, and they can't do anything about it because YouTube literally won't do anything, and they just give them like some BS answer like, oh, well, this is a generalized thing. We're working on issues to fix it, when it shouldn't even be affecting them in the first place. So.
No, absolutely. Now, how does that affect us on Twitch? Do you guys think that Twitch could maybe adopt something similar? I mean, we've seen instances on Twitch of like people almost performing extremely lewd acts on camera, and Twitch hasn't really done anything, but other people get banned for seemingly innocuous things. So do you think Twitch might make the switch to an algorithm like that? And if so, how would that affect us?
I don't know that they'll be able to switch to an algorithm as much because everything's live. You know, it's not a pre-recorded video. It's not uploaded to the website. It's happening now. You know, it's maybe a 5-10 second delay sometimes depending on your internet connection. But, you know, it's not something that an algorithm can... I don't think an algorithm could go through it and say, you know, this is happening. You would have to have real-time moderators for that. So I don't know that they could or would. Maybe for VODs, but I don't think for the live stream itself, because, you know, they can mute VODs for copyrighted music, but I don't know that they'd be able to for, you know, what's on the screen itself.
Okay.
The biggest thing that's interesting to me about this whole YouTube thing is we talked about this a little bit last week on StreamKey, I think, was that YouTube is now saying you as a creator, as the person uploading the video, you are responsible for your comment section. That's a problem. You know, that might work for me with, you know, 55 YouTube subscribers or whatever I have. But, you know, think about these people with millions and millions of subscribers who get, you know, they upload a video and it's been up for, you know, 25 minutes and they have hundreds of thousands of views. It's impossible for them to moderate those comments. There's no way they could do it. You know, on Twitch, we can do it because it's happening as we're in front of our screen. It's live. We can have a moderator there, or multiple moderators if you want to, that can ban those messages, you know, sometimes before the streamer could even see it. But on YouTube, you know, that video is up 24 hours, 7 days a week. There's no way that you could moderate those comments. So is the better option to just turn off your comments at that point? Or, you know, do you just, you know, hopefully it won't happen to me. Well, how do you even say that the YouTube video uploader is responsible for their comments?
I don't think you can. I really don't think you can. I mean, I've seen instances even on Twitch. I was watching a friend of mine stream, and he had maybe 25, 30 plus viewers. He's like an Overwatch person. And then XQC, who many of you may know is one of the largest streamers on the platform in Overwatch. He went and raided. And then all of a sudden, it's like the raid was filled with, you know, good people, but also like nasty people saying super racist things. Mm-hmm. So my friend put on follower only mode. And then everybody lost their minds because it was in follower only mode, even though he only had like 20 viewers before this raid came in, and he didn't have the capacity in terms of moderators to handle that. So it's like, if we can't do it like live when it's happening, there's no way people on YouTube, especially like if a comment gets buried, there's no way. It's not humanly possible. Our brains aren't designed to work that way.
My thing, if I could chime in real quick, is YouTube videos are also up 24/7, and there's no way for somebody to be up 24 hours a day on top of what they're doing already to moderate their own comment section. And YouTube's already supposed to have a moderation system in play for their own stuff. So I don't understand why they can't have that implemented in a way to catch things that they're looking out for that supposedly do stuff, and do it in a better way than saying like, oh, CP must be child porn and not combat points for Pokemon. or something along those lines. It just makes no sense. And I don't understand how a platform as big as YouTube, which is owned by Google and whatnot, can't do that when they have the obvious like capacity to do so with all the people that code in the back end and everything. I'm sure there's ways for them to do it, and it just looks like an extreme oversight on their part to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I can see it here in chat, malicious advice that is you have to moderate every video. So again, think about, someone the size of like Casey Neistat, for example, if you guys know who that is. He has like tens of millions of subscribers, and videos going back 10 years. Like, he's been on YouTube since YouTube was created. So there's no way he could even moderate those. He would have to hire like a team of people, a whole company's worth of people to do that. You'd almost have to have one person per video just sitting there and like just staring at it. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, like, let's look at PewDiePie. Largest guy on YouTube. Now, I have no love lost for the man. I feel like he said some things that are problematic. But his comment sections, lots of them are children. Many of them are children who have not yet learned how to behave on the internet. And I don't feel that creators should get punished because they're dealing with children or people who feel like they can say what they want without punishment. Like, many of those people who comment crap like that wouldn't necessarily want their favorite creator to get pulled off the internet.
Right.
So why should they get punished?
Yeah, and if you think about Twitch chats, because if you look at like big channels like Soda Poppin' and stuff, where the chat is known to be like jokingly toxic, if you look at it from an outsider standpoint coming in, because like even my chat will do that sometimes, we're jokingly toxic to each other, you roast each other, that kind of thing. If an outsider comes in and doesn't understand that, it can look bad until you're in on the joke. And if you're just going to a YouTube video and looking at something in that way, like not specifically like child porn and whatnot, obviously that shouldn't be joked about regardless, but like toxicity in general, if you're just going into it and not realizing that it's a joke, then it can become a problem anyway, because then we're looking at things that people find as jokes between the content creator and people, and then the content creator is getting punished because that's part of their content. And then it goes back to earlier also, like I said, like you can legitimately just go sabotage somebody's channel. Like if I wanted to, say, get comments disabled on PewDiePie's videos, I could essentially at this point with how YouTube's regulating this, go on PewDiePie's video, say some problematic things that they're banning people's comments for, and then make it so he has no comments for the rest of his videos until they decide he's allowed to have them again. That's a huge problem, especially because nobody's really safe from that at this point.
Yeah, the somebody's income and livelihood should not be in the hands of someone who doesment know how to behave. That's my final opinion on it. These are people's livelihoods we're talking about. I mean, like a YouTuber, not like a YouTuber, but at the end of the day, we're all just trying to feed.
Yeah, and so. I mean, it's exactly like you said, Chav, and like God of Zig in chat said here is, think about how easy it would be to just go to someone's channel and be like, man, I don't really like PewDiePie. I'm going to say something mean. And then just do that on every video. You could literally just copy and paste the exact same phrase probably over and over and over again. And the way that this is working and the way that this algorithm is going, it would not see it as, oh, that person posted the same message over and over again, clearly trying to be a troll. It would go, oh, that message is there. It's bad. Bad. Get rid of it. Instead of, actually looking at what's happening.
Yeah. And then Abusive kind of touched on it in chat. I'll go over it briefly because it's kind of a long story. But I was in a friend's chat beginning of February and jokingly said I was under 13 after they said something, and my Twitch was suspended and I had to give them my ID to get unsuspended because somebody reported me for that. And even though I was an affiliate with tax information on my account, they didn't care. They just auto suspended. So I feel like there is ways to revamp the systems on Twitch too, because I feel like them and YouTube are kind of a little overboard with certain things. and how they don't check on things. Because something like that would take a 2-minute search on an account, and I get where they're coming from, where it's like looking at regulating things, but it's also like, if we're going to put this much emphasis on certain things, then we've got to have certain ways to regulate it a little better, to where we're not completely just shooting ourselves or other people in the foot, that kind of thing, I feel like.
And then they need to be better about banning things that actually should be banned too.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I'm a female streamer. That's all that needs to be said about the crap I get sometimes. It's like, I've had people, like, even with, I've got it set to where you have to have like an email address.
Does that work?
We were talking about comment bombing. I got troll bombed once where people were coming in and saying a lot of really nasty sexual things. And I was able to get them to stop by doing that, because lots of times trolls are pretty low effort. But I mean, again, I'm a small streamer. I don't, it's like I'm not dealing with hundreds of thousands of people in my chat. So I don't know if it would work in the long run. It worked for me in that particular situation, but I mean, heck, it's not like Twitch did anything. I'm still being followed by some of the accounts they made.
Right.
That are like really nasty words.
Yeah.
I'm still getting followed by them, so it's not like Twitch does anything in certain situations. So there needs to be a revamp to where it's like they need to stop doing stupid things with algorithms, so that way people can take them seriously when it comes to actually dealing with actual problems.
I think the biggest thing they could do is talk to the people that have to deal with those things on how to try and fix those issues. Because it sparked a conversation on Twitter when I tweeted out that I was suspended. And a lot of people were like, that's ridiculous that one report for something like that could do something like that and get you auto-suspended. Like, there could easily be a system where it's like, okay, if we get multiple reports, then we'll check into it and flag their account and do that. But if there's one report for something like that, it's like, okay, unless they're saying like a slur or something where it's automatically flagged, like, there should be some sort of investigation in the account before you're auto-suspended. That doesn't make sense that somebody could just go report you for something ridiculous and you could potentially get auto-suspended from one report by somebody who just doesn't like you, or just find your comment just random compared to them. That's just not fair to me as somebody that wants to go in a Twitch chat, which is supposed to be fun and you're supposed to be able to do jokes, and somebody that just doesn't like your joke can report you and you're just done and you could potentially lose your account forever. That doesn't make sense to me.
Right. And and the weird thing with me is like you said, you have, affiliate information and tax information. Obviously that account is likely owned by someone who's an adult, because you pay taxes. You have to give them your social security number to see that. So it almost seems like that would have been something to kind of pop up and say, hold on a second, is this a legitimate report? But what it seems like happened was they reported it, and then there was a system in place that says, this was reported for this, ban that account, get rid of it right now. And then that's why they had the way for you to prove that you were over the age of 13. But it's just weird that wouldn't catch that. It's like that's where I always run into with relying on algorithms for these types of things. Computers are great, algorithms are great, but the algorithm is only as smart as the person who wrote it. So if there's an oversight, or maybe they just missed something, it's like, like you said, you could have lost your account entirely. Or on YouTube, that person who has, I think millions of subscribers at this point, has paid to travel all over the world to make these videos about playing Pokemon Go, and these two letters, this one phrase, gets the whole account just shut down entirely. There's I don't know the answer to it, but there has to be a better way to do that. These companies are, multi-million-dollar companies. How are they not able to figure out a better way to do that?
Yeah, and go ahead.
No, after you.
Oh, I was just going to say there's got to be some way to set up a checks and balances system, because obviously if you're getting comments from an account that was made 2 hours ago, a day or ago, something like that, no pictures on your account, no VODs, anything, then obviously that needs to be auto probably suspended for a stupid comment that's offensive or whatnot, whether that be on YouTube or Twitch. But if you've got somebody that's been around for years, months, whatever, has stuff uploaded on their accounts, videos, tax information, social security numbers and stuff, like that should trigger some sort of system like, hey, maybe we need to look into this before we kind of say, hey, let's just shut them down and say screwed unless they do an appeal, that kind of thing. Because especially for YouTube, it was said in chat earlier, somebody could just raid bomb PewDiePie with comments and their accounts shut down just because a whole bunch of 2-hour-old accounts, 5-minute ago accounts can go and just comment a bunch of stuff about our topic, child porn, in his account, and then he has comments disabled indefinitely. That doesn't make sense to me.
The biggest problem right now is you have to the algorithms are not caught up to what the human mind can think of. Mm-hmm. And both YouTube and Twitch, they have to be concerned with lawsuits. Like, let's just say you were actually under 13. Okay? And let's just say you wanted to donate some money to your favorite streamer. Let's just say, you wanted to donate to Ninja. So you jacked your mother's credit card and you donate, and you, being a 12-year-old, don't understand the value of money. So you donate $1,000 because, you want Ninja to notice you. Mom over here, half the time she's not going to get angry at the child. She's going to go after Twitch and Ninja. So the idea it's supposed to be a good one, I think, because it's trying to protect the streamers. But you're right, there needs to be more investigation into it. It's like, I get why they're doing it, but they shouldn't be, like you said, it's like, if you're an affiliate, they would have already done that investigation to you. Mm-hmm. Because they have your social. And at that point, they're probably running information on you. So, I don't know. I'm not a computer programmer. Never will be. I don't know half what's going on in computer. Most of the time I just get somebody who knows about computers. But there's got to be a middle ground between, protecting the companies and protecting the streamers and, getting ridiculous social media and poor public opinion by auto-banning for things that you shouldn't have been banned for in the first place and not handling bigger issues like sexual harassment, racial comments, and other things that we see on Twitch every day. Mm-hmm. And that's my soapbox.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. There's not a perfect answer because you can't have people, around the clock, especially on YouTube. Like we said, you can't have somebody always looking at those comments. But it does feel like a comment system. It would be easier for it to have an auto moderation of some kind. And maybe it could be something that just like we can set in our Twitch chat, that creator can set to specifically say, if this word is in the comment, it is not allowed to be posted. If this phrase is in the comment, it is not allowed to be posted. And that if that's what they want the creator to be responsible for, then they have got to find a way to create something like that, and it has to work perfectly. It has to work every single time. And if we've seen anything at this point from YouTube, that doesn't happen very often. No. I see it every single day on my Twitter that someone's video has been taken down for a copyright strike by someone who has nothing to do with what they did a copyright strike for. They're just saying that they do, and instead of YouTube doing a little bit of investigation and saying, you're not Warner Brothers Media, you're not, Roadrunner Records or whoever, they're just saying, oh, well, you're telling us that this violates your copyright? We're going to take it down so you can't get mad at us. And then you have the creator who says, okay, well, there's my video. That's my second copyright strike. If you get 3, your account is done. It's completely gone. And there have only been a few people who have been able to come back from that. And those have been big-time YouTubers.
With lawyers.
Exactly. Yeah. They've been able to say, this is my livelihood. I have millions of subscribers. They have a lawyer. They have representation. If that happened to my YouTube channel, I'm not hiring a lawyer for that. I can't afford that. You know,
Yeah.
it's the little guy is going to get the short end of that stick every time.
And not only the whole fact of like getting copyright strikes, because you can get those reversed if they find out it's falsely claimed, but in the process of that video getting taken down, you're losing revenue from views and whatnot. So that hurts you further in the process of that as well, apart from just the copyright strike. So it has like multiple levels to it.
Exactly.
Where you're getting your channel hurt. So that's like a huge reason why it should definitely be fixed overall.
Absolutely. I'm not against automation because I do think it protects us as creators from things. I just feel like they need to rework it to where it's not hurting people for no reason.
Yeah, make the AI smarter a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maybe
Exactly.
instead of it just being like an immediate ban, it should say, hey, we found this phrase. And then that should ping someone who should go, I need to look into this phrase. And, you know, it would put a little bit more human interaction back into it, but not make it so you have to have human eyes on it constantly. You know, the comment section, I don't personally care for YouTube comments. You know, I've made YouTube videos in the past, and 9 times out of 10, I forgot that I had a comment section. So if I got a comment, I would forget about it and not get back to that person for, you know, weeks, sometimes like a month, because, well, I uploaded the video. I don't usually get a lot of views anyway. You know, I might get a few comments here or there, but I never really bothered with the comments as much. That's what I liked about Twitch, was the interaction is more there. So the comment section, I don't know. I think we could have the auto moderation almost entirely of if it has this phrase that the content creator has put in my list of no words, it does not get posted. Or it goes to a review. And that could be the way to say, you know, you are the content creator, you are responsible for your comments. Instead of auto posting it, it goes into a review box where that YouTuber gets a notification. They can say, okay, algorithm messed up. This is not what they think it is, like the CP thing. This is fine. We are talking about combat power. Fine, approve. Or it could go to them and say, that's a racial slur. Deny. Also, you're never allowed to comment on my videos again. You're blocked. Or, like we do on Twitch, you're banned.
Yeah, and Twitch, also, if you look at Twitch chat, if you censor words, it puts asterisks instead of the words. And so they could definitely, if they don't want to keep messages from posting, they could set something up like that. Censor the words that YouTube has defined as bad words. Let the comment post and then ping them that, hey, this is it. You should check this out. Check this user out. See what they're about. And it's with the asterisk in the word, you're probably not going to tell the context of the message in most cases anyways, because it could be any number of words when it's censored that way.
Yeah, you almost have to
So
like
there's
sit there and count out the asterisks and be like, all right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 asterisks. Okay, there are a few words that could be.
Yeah,
Let's see,
exactly.
1, 2, 3. Every main
Yeah, exactly.
son.
Yeah.
But it's
That's when you
just
just start cursing in German.
But it's just like, if that's what they want, then that feels like a better option than saying, okay, well, you either have comments or you don't. Because, you know, these larger YouTubers, they probably rely on that comment section a little bit more than, you know, I would.
Yeah.
So it's, you just have to find that good middle ground. And I feel like a lot of times we don't find that middle ground. You know, YouTube is just like 0 to 100 with a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you know, if we can do it on Twitch when it's live, happening right now, why can't a comment that gets typed out and then you click post like you would on Facebook or anything else be censored to a point of, if any of these words pop up, you as the creator have to approve it, or maybe that's where a moderator team comes in. You know, you say, hey, you know, I've got, you know, my Twitch mods. I could say, hey guys, you know, you mod for me on Twitch. I'd really appreciate it if you could help me moderate my YouTube comments as well. You know, all of us will get a ping, and it'll be this set list of words that I say are not allowed. I'm not okay with them being in my comment section. And if you see it and you read it and it says, you know, that word is clearly in there, you hit no. If it's an accident, or YouTube decided that this was a bad word, but really it's not, or, YouTube has decided this is a curse word. Maybe it is, but it doesn't bother me that it's in my comment section because, it's not a terrible curse word, then, go ahead and approve it. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like that would be a better option than just disabling it or shutting a channel down entirely without looking at it.
Yeah, another idea I just thought of while we're sitting here. Why couldn't they do like an 18 plus filter for comments on YouTube? Be like, hey, if this person's content is a little more mature, why don't we just have some type of selection thing where if your account's under 18 and it's labeled as 18 and plus only, then you can't go in and post comments or anything like that. I feel like that could be an alternative too. Because even Reddit, if you go to like a not safe for work thread, you have to have an 18 and plus account and then click that you are 18 and plus before you can go in and see any content. And I feel like something like that for Twitch comments could be something like that where if you feel your content's more mature, your comments are going to be a little more just uncensored, I guess I could say, then you should have an opt-in for like, okay, I want my stuff to be 18 plus, and then anybody under 18 shouldn't be able to post comments or read comments, that kind of thing. But you can still watch the video if you want. I don't see how that would hurt the system at all.
Yeah, and I mean, what we kind of run into would be the exact same thing that happens on Twitch or
Liars.
a lot of other websites where people go, I'm 18, totally 18. Yep.
Yeah.
And then, but what you run into then at that point is that person has agreed to those terms and conditions that they are 18.
Yep.
It is then on that account. It is then on that person. And that's where we come into the same thing with having the moderation as well of, that person may have said that they were 18, and people who are 18 are still stupid sometimes and will come in and say things that they shouldn't be saying, whether they mean it in a joking manner or not. So
Yeah.
I don't think that that's a bad idea, but I think having a backup plan is also a good idea. Because there are a lot of accounts who that person legitimately said, hey, when I set up the account, I'm 16 years old. I'm allowed to be on YouTube. I'm allowed to have a Gmail account at 16. I'm allowed to have this account. And so I just went ahead and put in my real birthday because what's it hurt? And then they go, oh, man, I can't comment in this 18 plus. Well, sorry, you're not going to be able to do it for 2 years, and that's all there is to it. Because it has to be smart enough at that point to say, okay, well, you said you weren't 18. Oh, well, you went to this thing, and now you're suddenly 18. Huh. Like, it's going to know if you change your birthday. Because I don't think most sites allow you to change the year of your birthday anyway. And the ones that do, they will still ban you. Mm-hmm. Even for things you've done in the past. A small sidebar here with this is, I don't know if you guys are very familiar with Rooster Teeth or Achievement Hunter. So Jeff, one of like the main guys, his daughter just turned 13. She's been on Twitter before she was 13. Mom and dad said that's okay. We're fine with it. We're going to monitor it. She's part of the community. And for the most part, people are very respectful of her. So they said, go ahead, let's make your Twitter account, but we're going to say that you're old enough to have it. The day that she turned the legal age to have a Twitter, which was 13, she said, oh, well, I'm going to change my birthday. She changed her birthday on the account. Immediately, the account got suspended. Mm-hmm. They had to, fight to get it back, actually. So these websites are smart enough to know that you've lied about your age. So starting and saying you're 16 and then suddenly changing it, or even the other way around saying, yeah, I'm 18, and then on your 18th birthday changing it, that's enough to get an account suspended. So I think, that's a smart way to do it. That's a smart first step is say you have to agree that you are 18 or older to comment in this section. And then as soon as you say that, you still have to get through that auto moderation. Because I know people who are over 18 that will say stupid things because they are stupid people.
And you can even implement that. You could even implement that in Twitch chat. Like, we already have to say our streams are mature, but why not the comment sections as well if it gets that bad where people are worried about stuff in Twitch chat and stuff like that. Say like, yeah, I'm 18, let me chat, that kind of thing. Just click onto it. I don't see that's an issue. You know, the first time you click on a channel is the last time you have to do it again. But like the first time you go into a channel, like what's the issue with saying, yes, I'm 18, let me in? I don't see why you can't do that to a YouTube channel. Like, you don't have to do it necessarily for every video, but at least a channel at least once to say like, hey, if I want to go comment in this video or watch this video, then I have to agree I'm 18. And then at that point, it's not YouTube legally liable. That's the person being liable for lying to YouTube for their terms of service.
Yep. And then all it takes at that point is YouTube just blocking the account, saying, you're done. You're shut down. Sorry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You goofed. That's on you, kid.
All right, so somebody send this recording to you. We can get all these changes implemented.
Yeah, YouTube, we're going to need you to get on that right now.
Yeah. No,
We have a lot
right
of pull, so I'm expecting it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, so guys, do you guys have anything else that you want to add to any of the topics that we've talked about tonight?
I think I'm pretty good overall.
Yeah, good. So guys, if you in chat or listening to this later on, either on YouTube or on your favorite podcasting platform, have any thoughts on any of this, how other ways that YouTube could improve, other ways that Twitch could improve on things like that, please let us know at True Talk Podcast on Twitter or through email, truetalk@truegaming.com. So, Mallet, you want to go ahead and take us out here? Shav, you want to go ahead and take us out with your stuff as well?
Sure.
Yep. Where can we find you?
Twitch.tv/Shavrolet, Twitter.com/Shavrolet, Instagram and YouTube as well. YouTube and Instagram are both at the Shavrolet, all that fun stuff. I'm pretty much on everything, so it's pretty easy to find me. It's a not very broad name, so.
All right. You can find me on twitch.tv/malleteditor, twitter.com/malleteditor, Instagram/malleteditor, and pretty much I decided that my name had to be fabulous, just like me. Yay!
All right. So, Chevrolet, we know where we can find you. When all do you stream, man? I don't know your stream schedule.
So it's usually, if I don't work on the weekends, it's every single day. But generally, my schedule is Sunday through Thursday at around 7 Eastern until about, I don't know, like 4 to 6 in the morning. So that's to work around my school schedule and work schedule and all that, but usually get some hours in. I try to stream like 30 to 40 hours a week. So.
Do you sleep?
I try to.
Okay. Hey, MPI, where can we find you?
Yeah, so you guys can find me on all of the social platforms under Mr. Pure Instinct, except for Facebook. If you're a Facebook user, it's Mr. Pure Instinct TV. Somehow Mr. Pure Instinct was taken. I still don't understand it. You can find me on twitch.tv/Mr. Pure Instinct. I stream right now, Sunday. I do a sub Sunday night. We start at about 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. As of lately, we've been doing 10 to 4. I'm working on a little bit of a schedule change, so be on the lookout for that. Other than that, guys, I will be on the Stream Key podcast tomorrow with our lovely Green Cord Vlog and another guest. So, guys, that is live right here on the True Channel at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, if you guys don't already know. So, please be here to check that out as well. Guys, something that we didn't get to talk about last week because I didn't know the answer to it yet is this podcast will be live on YouTube and all of your favorite podcast platforms the Monday after it airs. So that means 4 days from today, it will be live on all of those platforms, whichever you'd prefer. It's going to be at 3 o'clock Eastern, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys listen to it on your way home from work, make sure that you have it set to auto download in your podcasting app or on YouTube so that you can check it out. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Mallet, thank you as always for being here. Chevrolet, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's been good getting to know you. I can't wait to check out more of your streams, and I hope that if anyone in the True community didn't already know you, that I hope this kind of gave them an insight into who you are, what you're about, and why you stream, and that they'll come check you out, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, and I'm looking forward to meet more people from True. So,
Yeah, absolutely. True is an amazing community, so I think
it
that
is.
you'll have a great time. But guys, as always, what we do at the end of every podcast, we're gonna rate another True affiliate from our wonderful community. We're gonna rate over to Malin21. Malin's been around for a while. He's a good dude. He's playing some Fortnite tonight. He is very entertaining, hilarious. So guys, if you have the True Hype emote, drop that in his chat. Show him some love and have a wonderful time hanging out with Malin. I will see you guys in the morning for Stream Key, and Mallet and I will see you guys next week for another episode of True Talk. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
bye.